welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are live on a Monday night to talk about Part 5, Shadow Warrior. That being Ahsoka, of course. Yes. Oh, Earl, I'm with you. It was it's a 9.4 on IMDb. I mean, such a great rating for a deserved rating for some of the best Star Wars that has been on Disney Plus. Garrison, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going great. I'm totally not editing the layout more and trying to perfect this thing.
Yes, Andrew. Nice.
That's
background.
Right. That's nice background. And Brian, yes, Purgles unite. We're here to unite the Purgles. Oh, I like this because it actually goes over Rhett's face.
That covers my face up.
No, I'm going to leave that right there, right there the whole night.
We're going to lose our viewership.
Whatever. Roth, how's it going, man?
It's going great. You know, I opened something that you sent me last Tuesday night, and I closed it very fast.
You're not supposed to talk about that
because I knew I'm not going to say what it was, but I knew that it was going to be an Ahsoka.
What are you
spoiler.
sending him?
Don't worry about it. It was an Ahsoka spoiler. Is all it was an Ahsoka spoiler, and I was like, I hadn't watched it yet, and so my expectations were raised. My expectations were met for this episode. This episode was fantastic.
Wait, you don't watch it live?
I was doing something. I can't remember what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
But I was doing something where I couldn't.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us. Sometimes we have to do live things.
No, Earl. Only Star Wars.
You don't have to. Like, that's the joy of being an adult. You don't you do what you want.
That's right.
Can you? No, that's not true.
Brian knows. Brian knows what happens.
It's usually an invitation.
Dr. Earl,
I'm going to give a
I know you were on a...
just like the acting that Rosario Dawson does. This is her acting.
Yes, that's it.
Until the last
range
45 seconds of this episode.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's back. Also,
and then my hands clapped. Oh man,
most racist thing I've ever seen.
Hayden Christensen.
They're so much happier when they're white. I don't know what Filoni was trying to tell us.
Yeah,
it's a Lord of the Rings
Star
thing.
Wars is
it's
good,
Lord
and
the...
Black in
yes.
Star Wars is bad.
Yes, come on.
It's a showing of the transformation.
Gandalf wasn't happier when he came back.
No, I don't find her happier, but she is more at peace.
She was happier.
She's more at peace with her situation, which is what.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to do some work.
So let's dive in. This was obviously written and directed by Dave Filoni. I mean, we can't call him the maker, but he sat at the right hand of the maker. And just as Anakin's master before him, and just as Ahsoka to Anakin, like, he gained all the knowledge from George, and is being able to impart that to the masses through this live action wonder that is Ahsoka.
Did you say fart out content?
No, I did not. Where's the Oscar for Earl? Yeah, that's right. Ted, I found it on X. It's on X, which is soon going to be a paid service. I don't know if that'll really happen, but
well,
Elon usually doesn't just like say stuff. He usually actually does stuff, so he probably will make it.
But he also did just say we're getting rid of the block feature, and he didn't do that.
That's true. That's still available. Yeah.
And sometimes he says stuff and then decides not to do it, but is legally obligated to do it anyway. Like Twitter in the first place.
Right, exactly. So let's dive into this. I mean, this was a difficult episode to talk about because there could be many different interpretations of what we saw. I don't think that it's necessarily easily interpreted. I personally don't think that's the world between worlds.
It just doesn't matter. Irrelevant.
I mean, it does matter.
I think it is.
I don't think. I think it's just a force vision. You're on mute, Earl.
It's not even a force vision. It's just her. She's going through some things in her mind that were unearned.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like a force
unearned. They were unearned, and we'll get to it.
No, go ahead. I mean, we're talking about what do you mean
I don't think
unearned?
it's unearned. So, I mean, it's
In what
was her
way?
struggle? What was she struggling with? What was her journey?
Are you being-
What was her journey?
She's been struggling since the end of Clone Wars.
Yeah, exactly. She was a child put into a war-torn.
Hang on. This is a TV show that if she was struggling with something in Clone Wars and they did not carry it through and show us that struggle here, then that makes this a stupid garbage show. Now, and I don't think they did. So if you're going to carry something over from Clone Wars that they didn't until this one episode, but there's no foreshadowing. What was her struggle? What's her journey here? What did she achieve? How did she change? What was she going through that prompted her to
PTSD from being a child that was in war
and have this journey?
Well, so Rhett, if you had read the
you stop that.
If you had read the DK book,
okay, got all the DK books.
Here's the problem that I guess is maybe a problem for people that have not partaken in the other canon Star Wars. The other canon Star Wars, which these animated shows are canon, and every single thing. No. Every single thing has led up to why her attitude and why her demeanor is the way it is now, because she's been through it.
Tell me why. You're all telling me that, that was explained, and you're not explaining how.
I'm trying.
See, but I feel like they showed you a bit of that in this episode.
Yeah.
Just, what she was forced to be as a child and the areas she was forced to be in.
She was struggling with that up until that point.
But no, she does seem. Look, you're commenting. You're commenting on the first 4 or 5 episodes, how emotionless and unhappy she seems.
Series, right? The entirety of the series.
We wish she could just crack a smile, but I think that's on purpose.
Yeah,
it's very.
And it's also.
Hang on, you're saying that character development is somebody not smiling.
That's not what I said. That's the dumbest way to take what I just said.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. That is not at all what he said.
Why do we have to defend this show to Rhett? I don't understand.
So I'm going to refute a point that Rhett hasn't made yet, and I don't know if he will.
Brian's got it.
Yeah, this is exactly it.
Yes,
but it did happen to her.
Star Wars.
Here's the happened to her.
You can only judge something based on like your experiences with it. So I've watched all of Clone Wars. I've watched all of Rebels. I'm now watching Ahsoka. I understand all of that with it. If you haven't seen those things, you're not going to get as much out of this as we are. And
correct.
But
too bad for you, and I don't really care.
You don't think it's poor construction of a TV show to not address
I will say
yes, for sure. I think it's a bad strategy by Disney, but it's the strategy they're going with, and I'm able to get it out of it.
In season 1, there should absolutely have been more setup of why she's like this and why she is this way. Maybe a bit more flashbacks to that younger child actress as Ahsoka. I'd be totally okay with that.
Let me give you. Who watched Futurama? Anybody watch Futurama?
Nope, I'm not a child. I don't watch.
I've seen Futurama
cartoons. I only watch animated series.
Fantastic. I hear you. There's an episode. Well, how about Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Anybody watch it?
I've seen.
Nope.
You're all too young.
I didn't see Buffy.
The movie.
There's an episode of Futurama where Leela? What's the one? That's the one-eyed girl, right?
Yes. Voiced by Katie Siegel.
She is. There's this mission that they're sent on that everybody's died doing it. And Fry's like, well, we don't want to go do it. That's ridiculous. Why would we want to do that? And she's like, no, we've got to prove that we're better. And they go on the mission and they have some adversity, but Fry ends up being killed. Okay. He's killed. He kind of jumps in front of her. A stinger goes through him and he's dead. He dies. And so she is laboring over this. And and so she's racked with this guilt, and she keeps having visions of where he's alive again. Like she'll take this drug basically to go to sleep, and she has visions of him being alive. And he always says, "Just wake up, just wake up." And she's like, "No, I don't want to wake up. You're here." And then she wakes up, and weird things happen. Like she'll have his coat, but then she'll show it to other people. Like he'll give her a coat in a dream, and she'll take it to somebody else, and it'll be her coat. And she's going crazy. She gets crazier and crazier. until finally, and I'll make it shorter than it seems like I'm going to. And finally,
You sound like Garrison talking about the Flash.
she wakes up. She wakes up in a hospital bed with him next to her, holding her hand, saying, "Please just wake up." And because she had been the one who had almost been killed. And she was so, in her mind, she was so racked with this guilt that she thought he had died because of her choices, that she went on this journey, and all these dreams, they progressed to her accepting, and she was finally just going to escape the world and she was going to sleep forever. She was going to kill herself so she could be with Fry. Okay. In this cartoon, this comedy cartoon, that character has a beautiful arc, right? But she had a struggle. They identified what it was her fault that all that happened because of her pride, right? They missed an opportunity here to make this a real journey for her, and a grown-up story that is really not an 80s cartoon plotting.
Well,
which is what it is.
And I will say there was absolutely what if stuff cut from this episode, where they would have delved deeper into her past and looked at what if she had done different things in the past and realized that she wouldn't have changed.
Episode like that, though, like they should have built. I mean, that was a different.
There is a rich past to this character.
Futurama isn't as serialized as this. This is much more serialized than Futurama. And so they had an opportunity to really build that up over the course of this. Maybe have something to happen to Sabine. You know, Ahsoka doesn't know what happened to her. She thought she was dead, and then she found out she was alive.
5 episodes.
What? Hang on. Majority found out that Sabine is alive. So she had no reason to be guilty. We had no indication that she was carrying guilt going into this vision that she had. And that's a weakness. That's a storytelling weakness.
Well, no. She had guilt from other series. She had guilt from the rich past of the character.
That out of the sky because you don't take 1 minute out of your 5 episodes to show that. That is poor storytelling. That is this makes it a cartoon, like a for a child. Like it's for simpletons,
which is what's great.
Her and Anakin
overly simplistic that I struggle with it. Now there are great things in this episode. There are some really good things here, but when you have no story, when you have no real character arc and no real characterization, it's just jangling keys. It's things that when you see, hey, I know that. Oh, I know that because I know Star Wars. So you clap.
No, it's more like treating a franchise like one long-running TV show, which is what the MCU's kind of done. It's more the MCUification of storytelling,
right?
Where I think that is a negative for new people. It's a negative for new people entering it, but people who have watched Clone Wars and Rebels probably really loved a lot of what they saw this past week. So there's a balancing act you've got to hit with that, where you do probably have to show some of that to the audience a little sooner.
I do understand what Rhett's saying, that they should have. The shift to me is super subtle. I mean, with Rosario's performance, it's like, okay, she's more sullen with her arms crossed versus now she's smiling with her arms crossed. So, what I'm saying, and I could understand, Rhett, there maybe should have been like a flashback maybe early on to signify, like even if
there wouldn't have been enough for Rhett. There wouldn't have been enough. There wouldn't have been enough. There wouldn't have been.
Forgiving of Star Wars.
No, I'm taking him on the benefit of his.
And like they could have taken just a few minutes to give her any sort of an internal struggle, visualize it or audibilize it, something to do it. So so now she's here.
Did they not do that?
What does Anakin teach her? You get to choose between living or dying. Well, hey, bro, that's not a real tough one. Okay, that's an easy choice.
Well, I don't think it was literal living.
What did he do for her here?
I don't think it was literal living. I think he's talking about the way we see Ahsoka after her attitude change and her perspective on life after that event happens. I think it's very different.
He helped her to forgive the things that she had to do in the past because she was told to do them, and she had no free will as a Padawan to say no to her master.
She's never struggled with that on this show.
No, she has struggled with that obviously because of her sullenness at the beginning of the series was because of all the PTSD that she had from all the stuff she's had to do.
I swear,
it's also her not having a place in the universe as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
not having a place in the universe.
No, I'll take Michael at his word, and that means that the entire characterization of that is in simply her arms crossed sullenness.
No,
And
I don't care about the arm cross thing.
That understands the lesson.
An overly simplified way to portray a character that it's embarrassing.
Yeah, here we go. This is what I'm trying to say. What Ted said.
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it, Ted.
That's really good, Ted.
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree with Rhett. It wasn't like some really deep thing. It was just like
it's not trying to be over.
No, and here's the
thing. It is trying to be deep.
No,
my gosh, it is.
Well, they were just wanting to show that relationship again, is what I felt like.
But yeah, I don't know that they were trying to be deep as much as they were trying to be like, this is cool.
Key jangling.
Yeah.
Key jangling. That's what that is.
I love it. Oh, it's the keys jangling. More.
Yeah,
like,
isn't
that what Star Wars has always been?
The only 50-year-old men who are going crazy about this are these two right here in the corner. Okay, all the rest.
That's not true. That's not true.
And pissing themselves over it in amazement are young, like people on Twitter who are clearly touched.
True. That's not true. When you say stuff like that, it makes everything that you said before it sound ridiculous.
Watch reaction videos on YouTube when they are literally crying and screaming. They just come completely apart.
They're trying to get clicks, Brett.
But they're trying to get clicks, and that's also the culture.
It's all disingenuous.
Look at any Taylor Swift fan when those tickets first went on sale. They all fell apart because they got sent to the back of the line or whatever, and that was to see a mediocre to good artist.
Real jobs. They want to do this for a living.
Look at this hot take. Mediocre artist, Taylor Swift.
I'm not touching that.
Don't get me wrong. I love her. I've got a Taylor Swift shirt right in my thing. I made it.
I don't have a shirt, but
there's something I'm gonna veer off a little bit. You guys just bear with me.
He's got to show us his era shirt real quick.
He's going to get an airbrush Taylor shirt.
What's he got?
Which era are you?
Yeah, he's got an airbrushed Taylor Swift shirt. Let me see. Did you get it?
I got it.
Let me see it.
It's just the best line ever written.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
so I'm a Taylor Swift fan. She's mediocre though. Her country stuff is much better than anything that she's ever done.
Yeah,
I liked her back then.
But I make that point to say that people are freaking out. That's just the culture. People just don't know how to deal with emotions nowadays. So that's.
But also, if it's on YouTube, and I understand we're on YouTube here, but if
YouTube
it's on
YouTube,
they're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get. It's all just part of the. Yeah, it's not real.
Or play it up for the camera.
Most people are. Yeah. Yeah, but then the tweets, they're like
Red is a true ankle.
I don't know. That's not what
I don't know. I saw some genuine reactions on Twitter that were people that enjoyed this episode that didn't go, I
think that it was a great episode, especially if you watched the stuff before it. Now, I can understand if you didn't watch the stuff before it, I can understand that it's probably not going to hit you emotionally the same that it hit me.
Well, what I have watched are the things like Ahsoka and Luke sharing screen time together and spending time together and periodically and presumably having a conversation off camera about maybe how things ended with Anakin, right? Mm-hmm. And to have her show no knowledge or awareness of that in this situation where she only sees him, she keeps seeing these flashes of evil rather than acknowledging that this lineage that you speak of, where you're trying to am I going to be evil like you? Is my apprentice going to be evil like all of the people? She should acknowledge that. Well, that ended well. Like he broke free of that. He went beyond that. He did not die evil. He saved the galaxy. She shouldn't want to not be like him, right? You take the good things that he was, but there was no acknowledgement of that because in this world, if it doesn't happen on camera in front of you, it never happens. And when you know that they should have had that conversation, she should know Anakin's full story, and to not kind of acknowledge that and show any kind of awareness in it here, I think is I think it makes it uneven. It feels like something's missing from the story because of that, because we know she should know what happened to him. And all the flashes of Darth Vader makes this key jangling that doesn't have a payoff.
Well, but so, and I agree that hopefully she does know what happened to Darth Vader after spending time with Luke.
Right.
But she also never met that reformed Vader. I mean, nobody really met that reformed Vader except for Luke, at the end, and I guess the Emperor.
Sure. As he was being plummeted down the
thrown down a
and look, I feel like it's a mistake. And I understand the nature of these shows and this shared universe, and you run into these same things in the MCU, but Luke should absolutely be part of stopping Thrawn.
I totally agree.
And he could, and we don't know that he won't.
And I would much rather have an actor.
Why wouldn't you want to? This is before he becomes a crazed hermit tit-sucking loser.
Right. So and he maybe that's coming, and maybe not this season, but maybe that's coming next season. I don't
think we see that on camera, because that is not something that the fan base embraces and wants to see. What I'm saying is the Luke that we know in this stage of his life should absolutely be fighting to save the thing that he just saved. And now there's an existential
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying.
Involved.
Oh,
but
Mikey's
we don't know that
I'm
saying that Luke, he could be involved.
Yeah.
There's still time for that.
Zeb
and Luke.
Zeb and Luke are going to come together. Things that ain't showing up in this show.
I don't think
Luke's showing up.
Won't show up this season.
I didn't say this season. I said that maybe he'll show up, because I think this season. Ahsoka. I think this season ends on a cliffhanger of some type, and then Luke has to come in with Zeb and save the
day. Where was I going to go with that? There's part of it that makes sense that Luke isn't involved right now, right? Because this is a very personal thing for Ahsoka, Hera, and so they're like, we're not going to involve this guy.
Well, but they tried to involve the entirety of the Republic fleet. They tried to get help from the Republic fleet to go do this instead of like.
Well, they tried to, but the Republic fleet.
It's not a secret invasion situation where Nick Fury's like, no, I can't ask for any help. I got to do this myself. They literally asked for help and didn't get it. There's no reason not to involve.
Right, and so that's why this is
this existential threat to the galaxy.
No, I agree.
Once Thrawn comes back is when I think Luke is going to get involved.
You don't want him back. That's the whole point.
No, he'll come back.
I know you have to involve. As those characters, you shouldn't want Thrawn to come back. You should prevent that.
I understand they're going to try to, but they're
going to be the big bad of all this stuff.
Does Luke know?
Well, he should. That's what I'm saying. That's the and I get.
And there's still time for that. There's still time.
That is not holy Lord.
Luke and Zeb are going to come in to save the day with Carson.
You don't think Luke is going to be in it at all?
No.
I don't either, really.
I think he could be next season. I think.
But wait.
They're going to be next season.
This is definitely part of the overarching story for like the Filoni movie, which
I think they're going to have. Luke
is definitely going to involve Luke. They're
not.
I think
touch the surface with Thrawn in this show.
Yeah,
I think, and I'm being.
It's not out of the question.
You have to involve the original trio. You have to in this story, and that I know that a lot of people aren't going to like that, but I'd rather it also be with actors as well, like actual actors.
They're going to have to.
If
they want to make any money, at the box office, they've got to have original trilogy people.
Is that right? Is this a new? You trying to find ways to save their box office? You were so confident in it 2 weeks ago.
I'm still confident in it.
Brett, I saw those lines.
No, I'm interested. You mentioned the original trio, because I think this problem, this storytelling problem, and even
Alden Ehrenreich back.
The key jangling issue here,
Millie Bobby Brown.
It's just this repeated fan service, and it's barely even in service to the plot. It's just there so you can squeal over it and do your YouTube reaction. Let's look at Patient Zero here. Patient Zero is The Force Awakens. okay, where they brought these characters in. Where then they blew it.
Was a good movie.
They built so much. They based so much on the nostalgia we had for those characters, where they're still wearing the same kind of clothes, and like Han Solo's still wearing the same crap.
Chewie, we're home.
They rely so heavily on nostalgia, on these things that were important to us.
I cried real tears.
I can't overstate how important Star Wars has been in my life, in my development as an entertainment perspective, the things that I have always enjoyed, the sci-fi twist of my life, this fantasy world. It's like Star Wars is important. I think it meant something to all of us when we first watched it, especially Michael and Earl. We're older. We saw it when it came out the first time.
When we were kids.
It impacted our lives, right? Sure. And that has stayed with us. They are using those things that mean something to people as bait. Like the story, the journey that those characters went on in the original trilogy was a grand story. And we don't get that anymore. We just get those characters to keep us on the hook. They're jangling keys. They're being used, and it's not in service to story. It's just nostalgia bait.
I'm fine with them not driving the story currently because it's not the Skywalker saga or a part of the Skywalker story. And I'm fine with them eventually coming into this and being like, hey, we're here. What do we need to do? This is a big threat, but it's not the ultimate.
I still think they do.
4 through 6.
We've heard Rhett's point of view. Let's ask some other people what they thought of the episode.
I mean,
well, the rest of you suck on it like Luke does that camel thing on his.
It was brilliant
on Octo.
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I really did.
I really enjoyed. I got to tell you, I think I was surprised. Look, and I know we saw it some with Kenobi last summer, but I was really surprised that Hayden still got it. I mean, he just goes out there.
Was great.
This is Hayden's best Star Wars performance.
His best acting.
That's really the best he's been. Yeah.
Or this, at least the CGI portion they used for his face and mouth.
The CGI in this episode actually looked
pretty
good.
Really good. It was crappy in the last episode. But.
I saw one of those. I'm pretty sure it was one of those creepy fan Ahsoka accounts, but they put it well on how you could really tell like that ending Anakin Ahsoka stuff. Like Anakin was a hotshot who was getting caught up and swept up in the joy and thrill of war and being corrupted by it. And his performance portrayed that. And young Ahsoka she did a great job of portraying this like
best actress
scared to death, like
lost,
like way in over her head. Like
no, I don't.
Great performance.
Okay, now you say young Ahsoka, but that was Ahsoka that knew everything, though. That wasn't. We're not. It's not an actual flashback.
That was
for sure.
Ahsoka's.
Yes.
There was a moment she was like.
Yes, I do. Yeah, she's fully aware.
Sort of. They didn't
fully aware.
In Jacob's defense, they didn't play it that way, really.
No, but I'm just saying those two actors.
They were kind of subtle enough that you almost thought you were watching an older memory, but then at the same time she would break in with lines here or there that you're like, oh, that's definitely more mature.
They had to have a little bit of have it both ways. Now here I'm going to challenge something that you reminded me something in one of those flashbacks. So this idea that it's all you're supposed to just know what's going on with everybody because of all this other that you've seen. Okay, so that first flashback, it's orange. It's the ugliest production design ever. I know it's Fog of War and it's a hazy dream, but it's memory. She's in all the smoke and she says, "It's the Clone Wars." Like, no shit, it's the Clone Wars. Okay, and so
she was surprised.
On one hand, you guys say no, they know you're supposed to know everything about everything, but then they deliver it's the Clone Wars to you.
That's for you. They did not watch
the audience. So which way do you want it?
It's for the
audience. I'm telling you,
they're trying to do a bad.
They didn't do anything else for the audience. They didn't show them that she was struggling with anything.
They're trying to balance it. They're not doing a good job of balancing it. Luckily for me, I don't need them to balance it.
Yeah. But they're doing a mostly fine job of balancing. I think they just need to do a bit more flashback to what exactly happened with Ahsoka to get the audience caught up a little more. But otherwise,
it's her
or at least
realizing
previously on.
It's her realizing, Rhett, I'm in the Clone Wars.
They don't have enough.
What's going on?
But she hasn't. There was nothing that triggered that. Like if she had All right, remember the episode before when Doctor Who tells the two of them to stick together, right? And they're like, "We'll do it," and then they finish each other's sentences together. I mean, it's just putrid. And but let's say that she decided not to do that. That she left Sabine on her own, and there was a little bit of that. They did get kind of separated for a minute. They were kind of far apart. But what if she had left Sabine alone and then Sabine had died? Now there's something in her to trigger get this road down into guilt, right? Like that's now she loses the fight because she's all out of sorts, and now she can have this internal debate. But there was nothing that triggered it. Nothing in the episode happened that would bring those feelings up for her. It was unearned, and that's what I have a problem with. It's an okay episode. I don't want to kill myself watching this episode. It's not like She-Hulk when it made me question, are women necessary, right? Like it's not that bad. But there are so many missed opportunities where they could have done so much more, and they really could have made this an interesting, mature story, and they didn't. And I don't think they can. I don't think Dave Filoni can. Is what I'm saying.
Well, first off, what do we mean by mature? Because in a certain sense, this is never going to be Blade Runner. It's never going to be.
It doesn't have to be, but it can be Futurama, or it can be the episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she thought her sister was killed and she went into this catatonic state.
But that was like what, season 7?
Yeah, something like that.
12. I mean, what?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember what that was, but.
This is.
But that's a goofy, stupid little show with a real mature arc and story, and they can do that. Andor did it.
Well, I think
Star Wars did it.
Here we go with Andor.
Strikes Back did it.
Well, he got.
You want to talk about a show that nobody watched?
Clone Wars and Rebels did similar things to that. So I don't know why we're discounting that Dave Filoni can't do something like that.
Of it, but I don't see that here. I prefer the Clone Wars to this. I think the Clone Wars had a lot more mature stories than this. I thought it was more complex and mature storytelling than this.
It's also a much broader show, but
yeah, it is. I mean, there are limitations here, but there were. I mean, it's a series. We see series that have complex stories. They don't have to all be simplistic, and this one is. But they don't want you to know it is. They play it like it's freaking Shakespeare,
conspiracy,
but it's not.
Well, so maybe I'm starting to think, not Rhett. Mikey's right that maybe this wasn't the World Between Worlds, but
I don't think it was. But that's just my interpretation. There's some people that say for sure.
Why would what's his name's son feel that if it wasn't something to do with being a real thing? Why would he hear the lightsaber over the ocean?
And possibly Hera heard the lightsaber.
Okay, now I'm thinking Garrison's right.
But that's just goofy. That's just goofy force nonsense. They don't have an explanation.
I'm with you, fellers.
I'm fine with that, and that's World Between Worlds nonsense, and I'm okay with saying that and accepting it.
The only reason that I think it's
goofy force stuff, but
the only reason that I think it's not World Between Worlds is it's Filoni reassuring those that are concerned that there's not going to be any retconning anything. They're not going to use World Between Worlds in live action to retcon anything. There's not going to do it. And there's a lot of people that want the sequel trilogy.
Didn't do anything to debunk that. I mean, that didn't address any of that.
I don't think that's it. I think it's the World Between Worlds. I also saw somebody else on Twitter say something about, maybe it was Facebook. I can't remember, but somebody said something that the World Between Worlds is different for everybody. Like,
I lean to Ted here.
Yes, that's where I'm going with this. We're like,
Jacob.
Yeah. The World Between Worlds manifests itself for Ezra as like him being able to like kind of see all of these and hear all of these different things from his past happening. And for Ahsoka, and or maybe it's more so for Anakin, because I'm kind of in the camp of like that is like Force Ghost Anakin that pulled her into it.
But originally, and this is not a fake thing. Like there were real what if things that she could see in the World Between Worlds.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have been her thing. Where maybe it's the guilt of all that stuff, and what if I did this, and then she sees that it didn't really change.
I think
that would bring her
the
to
difference
acceptance.
Being though, like the world between worlds seemed like more of a physical thing because Ezra pulled Ahsoka out of that fight,
and then she goes back in.
And then she goes. This I felt was more just like a force vision because she was knocked out in the water, floating in the water.
It was her internal monologue.
Yeah.
And, hey, that Jason kid looks like if Jax and Felicity Jones had a baby.
I mean, you're not that far off. You're not that far off. It's Hera and the guy from Summer Catch had a baby.
Summer
Catch, yes.
Summer Catch.
The good news is he's a good actor. The kid's doing fine.
He was not annoying. He was not annoying.
We're at that point now where we're elevating this kid's performance as quality work. Okay.
I mean, it's over. I mean, compared to some of the other kids that have been in Star Wars before.
Look, you put Ariana Greenblatt or whatever her name is.
Greenblatt.
I know.
I thought she was really good.
Her and Ray Stevenson are the two best performances in this show.
I was missing him in this episode.
I think Sabine is really. I think I did miss Sabine in this episode, but I understand why we sort of left that a mystery with her. I do think, Rhett, maybe since you've not watched the Clone Wars, there was always sort of.
I did watch the Clone Wars. Thank you.
Well, okay, all right, but there was always this thing where Anakin was always giving lessons to Ahsoka throughout their journey. Now, I will say, if you really go back and watch the original Clone Wars cartoon, Ahsoka never seems bothered by any of the war because mean, and the interesting thing is they did not show the soldiers fighting robots. The one time you see these, you see the bodies coming back. You see her killing the Mandalorians from that season,
slaughtering them.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. So we made a big jump here to what was that, season 7 of Clone Wars, I guess. The battle for for Mandalore or whatever it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so I don't know if she's, like you said, force projecting, or that's not the thing, but just imagining that he's trying to teach her another lesson. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Hera.
So the disadvantage that I think that as a showrunner Filoni has in this is he knows a lot of people haven't watched Clone Wars and Rebels. And so that's why he does have to dumb it down sometimes and say, look, it's the Clone Wars. I mean, he's forced into that in a way.
You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like,
no, he is forced into that. I mean, that's why I don't have a problem with the character saying that, because I know Filoni's forced into having to do that.
It's an event in universe called the Clone Wars. I don't have an issue with.
I mean, it's just force feed, but you guys say it's okay.
And I love seeing it. I saw it live. I saw
her guilt and her arc, or show any sort of character development anyway, because we're supposed to know that, but we weren't supposed to know that it's the Clone Wars.
But now she's smiling and nodding.
I think that's
she's doing way better than you're letting it on. I mean,
this idea that
this is probably Rose.
She has an easier life and she's happy and smiling. I think that is racist.
It's Ahsoka the White,
because she's Ahsoka the White now. I thought Rosario's performance once she comes back is good. Maybe not very good, but I think it's good, and I think she's bringing some charisma.
We had her take off her thing, bald Ahsoka.
It's better. Yeah, who dressed her? Like who changed?
Where did that white come from?
And then pass out?
The robot. Hu Yang dressed her.
Hu Yang said, "It's time to go." She made a transition. She had a white cloth around her first, and then
with some brown pants, and she put on the white pants.
Then she's totally transformed to white.
Yeah.
So
she took one of the main criticism I have had about this show and about women generally is that they should smile more, and she really
like a smile goes a long way. It is true.
And then there was
for others and for yourself.
Yes.
The beauty of her communicating with the Purgles out on the ship.
I know. I loved all the Purgle stuff.
The Purgle stuff, the music, Kevin Conner's music.
Space plankton was the best part, where they were eating the space. No, that was just in my head.
No. Why do they have the plankton filtering teeth like earth whales? and they live in the sky.
If this were the Clone Wars, though, I feel like there'd be an episode where they're inside the mouth and there's a bunch of dangerous stuff happening in there.
Right.
Oh yeah,
there's like animals fighting them and stuff. Yeah.
There's still 3 episodes. They might be fighting. Some critter.
It is kind of strange that they're called like star whales. Like characters refer to them as that?
What did they call them? I can't remember.
It wasn't space whales. I think it was star whales. That means there's other normal whales that exist.
Yeah, there were some big things jump out of the water.
Andrew wants to know if you like Shin Hati.
Yeah, I mean, she's a.
Well, we didn't get her this episode.
Bonkers about her, but I mean, she's kind of a blank slate to me. But listen, so many shows are built on convenience. Where how convenient that this just happens to be the moment that these whales are going on their migration to another galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That was just some real nice timing.
I love when they
good guys.
I didn't feel like that's exactly what happened there. I felt like it was
Ahsoka,
more communicating between Ahsoka and the whales, and she was like,
to go.
She convinced the main one.
Yeah,
she's like,
they all
where we're going.
Well,
it's
because the rest of them
the big one, the little ones follow the big one.
Okay, well, maybe
they're migrating with the big whale.
That's what it was. What I didn't understand. I think Hera at some point said, "Hey, try to find a way." She walked away from Ahsoka or something and said, "Oh, maybe you can find you look for a way for us to get to Sabine or whatever." And like, well, they went to another galaxy, right?
Right.
Even if you had the coordinates, you could not go there, right? You would still need to construct a massive ship that you don't have. You'd have to put all that together. That's not an instant. Oh, we know where it is now. Let's bop over there like it's
Andrew, naughty boy.
Like you have to do a lot. And I thought that was kind of like they forgot the stakes or something. Like the dialogue didn't match what really the events were. And I hate when that that stuff sticks out to me too. It's just. It's like they just say words to get from one thing to the other, whether they really connect.
You do hate that about shows.
Yeah.
But it's a fantasy show. They'll find some technology in this new galaxy.
Well, they already have it. It's already there to bring everyone back.
Well,
Thrawn's come back on the thing.
Yeah, the Chimera is coming back, and whatever fleet was with
in the middle of that ring.
Oh, it's gonna. That's why it's so big. It looks. Yeah. Remember the Jedi Starfighter parks on that thing and then takes off. They're going to do that with the Chimera. That's why it's so big around, so we can dock with it.
I can't wait.
There's a shot of the trailer that's where we first see Thrawn as he's walking on the bridge of the hyperspace.
It's a multi-season show. We're going to have 5.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of seasons. Yeah,
so that's why we're building.
Successful.
We're going to see the transitional arc of Ahsoka. No, I think my biggest acting disappointment, honestly, and this hurts me in a way because I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I just don't.
She's good in this episode.
Well,
she smiles.
I just don't.
Look,
jokes around.
She's at least elevated acting next to that X-wing pilot. I'll say that.
Oh my god, Kim's convenience guy just needs to die.
Awful. Good grief! Collided
with
the other.
He's so delightful.
I was hoping a Purgle would accidentally knock him out.
Yes, Ted. 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, 6 seasons in a movie. No, they're going to keep this trend going. I mean, they're going to at least do 2 seasons and then that movie, or maybe the movie will come first and then lead to, I don't know. There's
Mando.
Strike is messing up a lot of the timeline.
Guys, big news.
Oh, here we go.
Ray film starts shooting in spring, guys.
Ray's film.
The Ray film?
No chance.
Yes.
That's what Lucasfilm wants to do right now. So anyway,
chance that movie gets made.
Move
that
on.
Is like you have to hate money to make that movie.
Rhett, I am just reporting on what Lucasfilm wants to do.
I'm just saying that is just crazy talk.
I love the Ray character. She's great.
Look, I don't like Hera. I don't like Hera.
No, Coach is wrong because this is after the sequel trilogy. Oh, I'm sorry. This is after the original trilogy. I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. I'm sorry. I read that as original trilogy.
Oh yeah. No,
I'm assuming they're dead.
What's up, Coach?
They're another 40 years older by then too, aren't they? That's part of it.
What's the difference between the distance between? Yeah.
They'll get Barrymored if they do that. Yeah,
no. This would be assuming the strike.
This would be assuming the strike is over. Yeah,
Listen,
I mean they can't do anything.
I don't like Hera's portrayal. I don't think she's anything like.
She was much better this episode.
Here or there, but and look, this relationship to the Republic that she has is bonkers and nonsensical.
No. All this is a prelude to why the Resistance is beginning. This is why, like, Leia and Hera break off.
I get that they have to do that because J.J. Abrams.
They have to make the New Republic.
He made a garbage world, and they're trying to bridge that gap, but it's gross to watch. Like they don't.
Well, I mean, it does make some sense. I mean, they've got the power, and so they become bureaucrats, and they just. No, it all becomes very. I mean, it kind of does make a little sense.
I agree with you on this, Rhett. I don't. Making her a general, but not
having any authority whatsoever.
Well, her just walking around in this kind of, I don't know.
Well, she still has to. Everybody answers to someone.
I know, but
I mean, so she still has to answer.
I know she does. I just don't.
She was able to do all her own. Everything she wanted to always until she wasn't for plot reasons, right? Like now that you when you contrive a conflict.
We're sorry, we're stealing the joy, guys.
Nothing,
Garrison,
that's not good writing. She was
always
on her own. She was always independent and can do what she wants. She did in this very series do what she wanted until she couldn't. And it's just none of that makes any sense.
It's just to show that the New Republic.
Think of all that they've been through now. You know that there are two people with lightsabers ruined a ship, a Republic ship. You know they're out there. You know this prisoner escaped. You know that these hyperdrives have been stolen. You know that some assassin droids try to blow up a whole planet to get that map practically. You your trusted people in in the Republic are saying that these things are happening, and you are doing absolutely nothing. You refuse to believe them when you do have evidence that all of this is happening.
Yes.
And it's just incompetence. And when your plot depends on people, on otherwise reasonable people doing stupid things repeatedly to move your story forward, that isn't a good story. That's what I'm saying. And I don't.
Well, we don't know if those people are competent.
I fully agree with your New Republic complaints.
Yeah, they've been leading up to this. They were stupid in other series. Also, this wasn't the only series that they were stupid in. But it is because they're
shoehorned. They're trapped by the forced trilogy.
Mm-hmm. They are. They have to figure out like why the Resistance started and why it's not just the New Republic.
Which is why Michael was wrong earlier. And Dave Filoni is going to use World Between Worlds to completely erase the sequel trilogy.
No, they're not going to erase the sequel trilogy.
That's what we're going toward. Great. I'll endure all this crap.
Here's what I would have loved: how this whole series started. You have Hera as a general leading troops and meetings, all this stuff. She's given the ghost to like Zeb. Mm-hmm. Zeb shows up and says, "Look, we've got this whole situation with Sabine," and so she
they'll be situation's just complete carabast.
I think they'll
away.
Be around, Coach.
You know what I mean? Like it would have been cooler to have like the world bigger than just, oh, I'm a general just because I have this little badge on my chest, but I still dress like I'm like a space pirate or something.
I don't care how she dresses. That's just to
militaries wear uniforms.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying
about all that.
Yeah,
who seriously cares about all that stuff?
Show that she is outside the chain of command.
Yes, I would have loved that
until your plot requires her to be in the chain of command and can't help your protagonist.
We just think too much about this, Michael.
You shouldn't. It's Star Wars.
We think more about it.
Enjoy it.
Guys,
Jangle
can
the
I
keys.
just say?
I want the keys in front of me.
Can I just say some great lightsaber fighting in this episode? Can we all agree, man? Yes.
When he spun around, I love. No, I mean I'm serious. I think
you're really putting like too much weight into
the
ability of anybody to tell a story.
Hayden Christensen can spin a lightsaber
successfully in Star Wars. I mean,
look, all we want to do is make Star Wars fun again.
Yeah, that's all. It just needs to be fun. It needs to be low. It needs to be like low.
Look, I leave my deep sci-fi to Denis Villeneuve and guys like Chris Nolan.
Low-hanging fruit. It's for plebes.
It doesn't have to be that deep. It doesn't have to be a rival. and Dune, right? It can be.
Wait, what about Expanse? Don't forget to say Expanse, Rhett.
No, it can be Star
Nobody's
Wars.
ever heard of the Expanse.
I'd like for it to just be as deep as Star Wars is, but it isn't.
When was the last time that Star Wars was that
Andor?
deep,
And it was good.
Andor.
It was about 1980.
Exactly.
Another show nobody watched.
No,
he's right about that. Statistically, he's right about that.
Star Wars, or watched Andor, but that was because of all the
more people
crap
watching
that came
Ahsoka
before
than
it.
Andor.
Well, no, it was
Back,
it was mainly because nobody.
It's an obscure character that nobody remembers. I mean, it was a weird title. They should have called it something besides.
And Mandalorian looked like Boba Fett. Oh, I gotta watch the new Star Wars show.
And then Baby Yoda became a cultural phenomenon, right? That helped. And Andor didn't have any of that. Andor was grown up,
and he was known as you're still saying,
the blue-haired, lowercase O-shaped people on Twitter who love them, who are the Star Wars fans now, don't want adult storytelling. They want this Paw Patrol scale storytelling that we're getting now.
Paw Patrol,
guys. New Paw Patrol movie.
That new Paw Patrol movie does look really good. I'm actually excited.
Are we doing Paw Patrol?
What am I doing with these people?
Are we doing Paw Patrol, boys?
Paw Patrol, yes. Let's do that.
Patrol.
Saw 10 and Paw Patrol on the same day.
Saw Patrol. That's awesome.
I'll dress as the pink dog. I don't know the name.
Look, what's her name? Andrea
Greenblatt, from Barbie.
She did great. She had great emotion. I think
it's a bummer we'll only get her one time.
I know. And then I thought Hayden Christensen did great. His acting was good.
He's done, right? We're not seeing him again.
I don't.
Yeah, he's done too.
Probably not at this point.
Never.
But you never
Maybe
know.
at
The
the
Force
end.
Ghost may appear to talk to her shoulder. Say,
look, that Greenblatt girl has been in.
I'm
Infinity
okay.
War,
Yeah.
Barbie, now Star Wars. Like
she's good at franchises.
It's the franchises, isn't she?
I will say I'm totally okay if Ahsoka's got to learn more lessons from Hayden Christensen. I'm okay with that.
I would love some more.
I would love to see more of him, but I don't think you will. But I think he's good. I don't fault his performance. I don't.
That's right.
Now he was good. And look, the visuals that everybody squeeze over. I mean, they were cool little visuals. You know, the fade out into the smoke.
It was a dream world.
I liked
the
I really liked the one where he's walking into the battlefield and it flickered.
Yeah. That
one I liked.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then the other, when him walking towards her with the red saber, where you get it's a cool visual. It's great.
Filoni. It's Filoni, the master. He's the master. It's Filoni being the master. I mean,
this was not an incompetently directed episode either, like the first couple. I mean, it was a pretty well directed. I mean, I saw the rule of thirds in a few places, which Star Wars is not particularly known for. So I thought it was okay. It was just the story, and I'm overstating this a little bit
because you want clicks, Rhett.
No, but it's not even that. I mean, what else? Otherwise, it's just mid, and so it's not awful. It's not. It really doesn't make me angry watching it. And I do feel like
I don't know. I think it might.
But because you make me angry. Like
you don't demand more from the story
because
I don't understand like
simps for it.
What you can expect, like this is not, and they don't treat it like Shakespeare. Your comment earlier,
no,
like
they want you to think this is so deep and it's so shallow.
I wouldn't call it shallow, but it's certainly not deep. But I wouldn't also go as far as to call it shallow. I mean, it was for Clone Wars and Rebels fans, people that have watched all of it.
Some fan
service. It was a lot of fan service to that, and I'm okay with that. I love the fan service stuff. I mean, give me all of that, but also give me another series like Andor too. Like give me Andor season 2, because I can separate that. I can totally separate that as this is a really good show that's not actually Star Wars, and this is a really good show that is Star Wars.
It's not. I mean, it's taking all the things that you know from Star Wars and jangling it in front of you so you'll clap at it. No, it's not Star Wars. It lacks depth.
I don't clap. I cry.
That's right.
I have tears of joy.
Characterization.
there was just some really good stuff. The second
And
time
you
I
guys
watched
think
it,
it's a remarkable character arc that she's not smiling in one scene and she smiles in the next.
Stop doing that.
that's not true. That's not true. If you know everything that the character has gone through to the point that we are in this series,
I was weeping for
you
her
recognize
to say,
why she is sullen. You kind of recognize like she has gone through hell and back.
I
love her mentor turn into the enemy.
Yeah,
and this evil character.
And I love
left
the way
the
Ted
Jedi Order.
Put it. I love the way Ted put it. Stop mourning the past and live for the future.
Yeah,
it's a great way of thinking
Ted,
exactly kind of what she went through.
Ted.
And I understand. Look, I have issues with some of this stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Tell us your issues, Garrison. Come on.
Oh, well, I think Rhett said enough.
Let's celebrate the good things. I loved her in all white, standing on the ship, talking to the Purgle. I thought that was a great shot. Beautiful shot. That would have looked awesome on IMAX or on a big screen. With Kiner's score. I mean, I was like,
the deal is, that as a character, she has now come to terms with all the stuff that she's been through. And so, yeah, I think it's a deserved different demeanor. And we got there for a reason.
One thing that happened in Rebels too, she did not know that Anakin had turned to Darth Vader, right?
Right.
And there's that whole arc in that second season and then the fight at the end where she's just like,
she's lucky. Then, she would have died if Ezra had not come in.
Yeah. I mean, the assumption is that she did die in season 2.
I mean, it's debated.
Those doors are
closing. And there's a lot of symbolic stuff that happened
And then Maul, hey, wait till Maul shows back up.
Oh, I'm so ready for the mechanical leg.
Let's go.
He's still being sustained by hate.
Yes.
Mid 80s.
Somehow
Maul returns.
Yeah, I like what Brian says here. I mean, for a Jedi, which she technically was not until now, maybe. I think this Anakin has said, "You're now a Jedi." He didn't say those words exactly, but the assumption is that now she has completed her training. Now she's a Jedi. But I like this. Who is not supposed to have attachment or emotion? New type of Jedi we've been waiting for, right? I mean, yeah, I kind of like it. So. All right.
I'm ready for Gal Gadot to show up.
I think.
I'm
sorry, look, Red, I'm sorry that you're not getting as much out of the show as the rest of us. I apologize.
It must be hard.
I know it would make you happy.
There's so much joy I'm experiencing with the show.
It's just it's my own fault for being smart.
I guess so.
Hey, how's your eye, man?
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
You still have sight in both eyes?
HIPAA, Dr. Earl.
Yeah, I am sighted. I'm double-sighted.
Double-sighted.
Yeah.
Double-sited.
Yes,
Garrison, where can people find you on the internet?
Wait, where are we going? And where do y'all think the next?
Oh, you always like to do this crap.
I like to say
let's
predictions
see.
where we're going.
Thrawn's coming back.
Zeb's showing up.
Coming back. I mean, they all end up in the galaxy, farther away. Yes. And then when everybody meets
he comes back to this galaxy.
Yeah, I think
galaxy far
and
far
then
away.
War, cliffhanger, war. You see Zeb come in right before the episode ends, right before the final episode ends.
He comes in. Ahsoka on your left.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Hey, Kiner better have something to match portals because that's a great
look. Kiner's score is so freaking good. I think that's what he as a composer understands the emotional resonance that or the oxygen of music. Whereas I think even though I liked the guy that did Mando, what was his name?
Ludwig, when he was actually doing the show, was really
good.
Yeah,
right? But it's still different, though. It's Kiner is grasping some things that I don't think Ludwig grasped.
Ludwig was doing a lot more Bill Conti stuff too with his he's like fresh off Creed as well. So
sure.
That's a kind of part of his repertoire.
I mean, he had a great theme though for Mando. It was excellent, but
yeah,
and he wasn't dealing with as much of this it
was more Western
OG like original trilogy type of stuff.
Yeah, he was basically go in and do your own thing. It's Western, it's Star Wars, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would not be surprised if we get Thrawn tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Ted's right. I think you see him first. I think he's before the title.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's an interesting thought.
I hope he's in the series a lot, but I'm afraid that I'm just nervous that they're actually afraid to let him be in the series a lot. Like they don't.
You think they're saving him for the movie, or
maybe? I mean, Mads Mikkelsen. I mean, good actor, I guess. I mean, he's been in a couple. Not Mads. I'm sorry, Lars. He's been in a couple things, but
he did the voice for Rebels, right?
I know he did the voice, but that's a different medium. I mean, very different medium. He was good as the voice, but
when does Ashley show up?
To put a weak actor on screen in Ahsoka. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm not saying that.
Let's talk
saying,
really
like,
good live action actors. When does Ashley Eckstein show up?
Never.
Here's the deal: if this character doesn't
crossover,
if this character doesn't work, and if people aren't talking about how much they love his portrayal as Thrawn, they can't do the movie. They're stuck. Like, this has to work, and so they can't. They need to just give him a little bit of screen time now.
You are never going to see Thrawn in a big screen theatrical.
That's what Filoni's
I'm going to clip that one day.
That is what Filoni's movie is going to be.
Harrison?
They're not. They want this character to be like Thanos. I mean, that's
what they want. That I'm telling you, they will never get there.
Is Ezra going to be good or bad?
What do we don't have to compare him to Thanos. They want him to be a big deal.
They do want him to be a huge deal. I mean, they don't want him to just be one episode or one series and done. They want this to continue through to the Filoni-verse and be even more menacing than we thought that Giancarlo Esposito's character was going to be.
What they also want is to make money, and none of the things you're talking about lead to that.
I think there's money in Thrawn. I think there's definitely money in Thrawn.
But see, Brian, and I agree.
You're right about that.
They currently don't really know who Thrawn is, though a lot of people watch Mando season 2, and his name was mentioned a few times.
I almost think like we need to stop using the Gen Pop.
But yeah, I mean, my argument with that would be Jim Pop knew almost nothing about Marvel characters, and then eventually a Marvel movie made $351 million opening weekend.
Iron Man is better than anything Star Wars has done in a couple of decades. I mean, they had a much better start, a crowd-pleasing start with those than anything Star Wars has done. Star Wars is not well considered. Okay, it is not a prestige property. It's not.
No, it is.
No,
oh my God.
It's not a prestige property. It's certainly not
a money maker.
It's a money maker, but it's
dude.
Well, guys,
made like
Rise of Skywalker, which is super divisive. 47% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Made $1 billion freaking dollars.
I mean,
there's no China involved in that at all.
Made half what The Force Awakens did in
40 years. But still $1 billion's $1 billion.
And there is China, but China doesn't like it. So
right, you can't say it made half of what Force Awakens did when it made $1 billion, and then critique like when we're talking about like other like small movies that had like the horror movies, like one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the realistic thing is
it's still
Star Wars cost like $300 million.
Star Wars, The Force Awakens hit $900 million domestic, $2 billion worldwide. Yeah, that is gargantuan. It never was seen before. No film has hit that domestically since.
There's natural fall off from trilogies.
Well, I think you can build, but at the same time,
Last
that's almost an outlier.
Star Wars, in all honesty.
Yeah, but
I mean, Last Jedi kind of ruined.
You can't. The world does not see Star Wars.
No.
In 2023, like it did in 2015.
Okay? I don't think it. Well,
no, certainly not. I don't think we're making that argument, but I still think that.
No, it was
still a moneymaker.
Product. It was a prestige property.
They can get back to that. They can get back to that with Thrawn.
How? Cranking out the content.
More prestige.
Taika Waititi's movie. That'll get us
back.
That
got canceled.
No, it did not.
I cannot wait
that
to
was
see
refuted.
There's another one. You will never see a movie, a Star Wars movie directed by Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi's movies ain't happening. I'm going on record
right
now.
We're forgetting the Glover brothers. The Glover brothers, the Solo movie or the Lando movie.
The info they put out themselves.
The info they put out themselves to try and No, but Disney did confirm it to Variety. Disney confirmed that it is a movie.
There's a
brother. Not that nobody knows when the strikes are going to end, though.
Right. It's a Disney Plus movie. It's not a theatrical movie.
You can't afford to make stream. No,
streaming's
don't do that.
done.
All they got to do is show Grogu in that ad for that movie, and when Grogu takes on Thrawn, baby, woo! I'm gonna clap.
Show Grogu.
Oh man, Grogu versus Thrawn.
I'm talking.
Now we're talking.
Like, show Grogu, hint at Luke, and that's a trailer right there. That's gonna produce a movie that makes a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's like.
There are so many things working against Star Wars right now.
No, I don't disagree.
One of the biggest
I don't disagree
Disney.
with that.
There is a segment of America who hates Disney and everything about it. Okay, there is a conservative side of America.
Yeah, but Star Wars usually bridges that gap.
Yeah, but Disney is embedded. I mean, the people have really started to be anti-Disney in some segment of the population. So you're cutting off it is much more difficult to make a successful Star Wars movie now than at any point since 1977. Okay, like that one was a surprise. Anything successful from here forward is going to be a surprise. It is not a guarantee. The conditions are not right for it. And at some point they quit throwing good money after bad.
Here's the thing. I don't think Lucas, real honest reply to Coach. I don't think Lucas wants to make another.
Oh movie. No. That's no. He wants as much as we all would love that. He's done.
He was in really poor health. He was in really poor health after episode 4.
Yeah,
and the reactions to the prequels,
directing these movies,
he was not super jazzed about, and I don't know that he really wanted to direct the prequels originally anyway.
No, he was trying to get others to do it, and nobody would. He was trying to get others to do it.
I don't think he would do it. I think he'll assist, help you out with some things. But...
Yeah, he'll go on set and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, this looks good," and that'll be.
There's some world building ideas.
Well, of course,
he'll go take a look at all their maquettes.
Oh man, he loves a maquette.
Oh, he loves some maquettes. Well, you want to angle the head just a little bit like this and change
the mind if I keep that for myself for later?
He'll go highlight a storyboard or two.
That's right.
Yeah. I would love to see George back.
Okay, sorry, Michael. We can go back to this.
No, I was just trying to end the show, but
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, hey, you can find me on Twitter at GRyfin3, GRYFUN3, Instagram as well. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfin.
That's right.
You can find me on the Deucecast Discord. You can find me here Tuesday nights.
You better be available Saturday.
Episode
also
600 coming up. Exciting times recording this Saturday.
Yep.
Starting at whatever time that Mikey put in the Discord that I forgot.
Mountain time.
Yeah, like whatever mountain time, whatever ridiculous, whatever like small population of this country is mountain time.
It's the best time zone. Look, it's 9 o'clock and there's football on, and I'm going to be able to do something else after football's over.
I'll see Nate.
True Star Wars fan right there.
That's right. Roth, where can people find you?
Roth from Wyoming on all the socials, including Letterboxd. The podcast is the Good Day for a Movie podcast. We will have a new episode this week. It's on Apocalypto, the Mel Gibson movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. Also,
a wild movie.
Yes, it is.
I should save this reveal for the episode, but I'm not going to. Sage isn't going anywhere.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. He's staying.
He's back, baby.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
He got to New York and he felt lonesome and
it's going to be like the J. Jonah Jameson scene where he's like, oh, I didn't realize how much I was going to miss Spider-Man, and then he goes the suit back. You're like, damn it, Sage.
Sage had texted him and it was, or maybe he called him and it was like, hey, so are you like done with the podcast? And like it's like, it's fine if you are. Like, we've got a whole plan if you are. And he's like, what? No, like I'm just busy, and I didn't have internet and like a
just,
TV when I first moved out here. Like
busy.
No, I'm in. I like doing it. And I'm pleasantly surprised. So not much is changing with
the legacy goes on. The core...
We do know who the director of the next episode is already. They've already, IMDb has that early for Jennifer Getzinger.
Oh, good. We know what Rhett's gonna think about that.
She directed some Mad Men episodes, Westworld.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I've seen her name.
Killing. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, her name's been around. Yeah, she's
what season of Westworld?
What season of Westworld?
Yeah, that's important. That's
season 3. Not a good season.
No, not impressed.
To the audience at home, I gave them an out, just to let you know.
I know. Sorry, no, I just noticed that she was the director.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, she's
Daredevil.
Okay, so she's got some chops.
Agent Carter.
Journeyman director. That she's fine. She can't do damage any more than the writing is.
All right. Earl is off the grid, but
Nowhere.
can be found on the Deucecord from time to time in the Pretentious Corner, and he will be heard, whether he likes it or not, on episode 600 this Saturday. You don't have to stay the whole time.
Is this live?
We're not going to do. No, we decided we're going to have to record it because of reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just going to be a recorded episode.
We
will. Yeah, because of reasons. Anyways.
Okay.
But Rhett, well, it's just
you want to censor Rhett.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rhett can be on 600 if he wants to. Everybody in the Deucecord is going to have the link.
You can find me choosing to watch Blippi instead of anything Star Wars does because
I prefer his pre-Blippi
At least that
content.
guy takes a dump on other people.
Well, that's appropriate way to end the show. I mean, why not? We'll be back next week, God willing.
Harlem Shake.
To talk about part. I'm sorry, whatever part we're talking about. Part 6, I guess.
5.
No, it'll be part 6, right?
6? We're that far into this thing?
3 more to go. 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Wow, it is 6. Oh, I guess we had double
7, 8,
episodes.
9. No. I appreciate everybody that hanging out in the chat. We had Ted, we had Andrew, we had Brian, we had Aussie Nate, we had Matt for just a minute, we had Coach. Chat was blowing up this week. It was good. It was very, very fun. So talk to everybody next week. Everybody have a good week. Watch some Star Wars, maybe the old Star Wars. Maybe make yourself feel better and watch the old Star Wars. How about that? There you go.